Hey guys, starting today, I'm going to start doing a different type of review called the Top 10 on Netflix. Avatar: The Last Airbender was a very popular Nickelodeon show back when I was like in middle school or something. For the longest time, I actually thought Avatar was an anime, which is, like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, that type of genre of show. It's actually not made in Japan. It is made in Burbank, California by Nickelodeon Studios, or Animation Studios, whatever it's called. So it's technically not an anime, but it has all the style and feeling of an anime, which is actually pretty cool because it's written and produced in the United States, and it has all the feeling of an anime, and it kind of has that cultural feel of most Japanese-style cartoons. The fact that they pulled that off on Nickelodeon is actually very commendable. That's great. How do you guys do that? The story of Avatar is actually very simple yet epic. In this universe, the world is divided into 4 different nations: the Water Tribe, the Earth Kingdom, the Fire Nation, and the Air Nomads. Each nation has their own specific type of martial arts style and power that goes along with it. Power is called bending, where you can bend certain natural elements depending on what nation you're from. And the person that can bend that element is called a bender. I really enjoy the power system in the show, by the way. It's simple, but it's also pretty epic because each nation has their own power, like fire, water, earth, and air. But the martial art that goes along with it kind of corresponds with that element. So like the earth style is very, very strong, and the way their stance is very outwards and just kind of like sturdy, So when they're attacking, bam, 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 it's really cool, sturdy, straightforward. As in the contrast is the Airbender, where it kind of is like you use your enemy's momentum against them. It's kind of like you move and you kind of do this kind of swirling motion when they're attacking. And it's not as straightforward at all. Fire Nation has a lot of fury involved in it. There's almost like anger between punches when they're attacking. And then the waterbending has a very flowy style where it almost looks like a dance. And I find it cool that they kind of corresponded martial arts with the power element. And it's just cool. I'm big into martial arts, so just watching them use magical powers with different types of martial arts, it just kind of gets to me. I like it. It's just cool. I know people are going to hate me for this, but we do follow kind of a stereotypical main character, Aang, which, when I mean stereotypical main character, I mean like in the anime sense, because most of the anime main characters kind of have like they're not dumb, they're kind of like a happy-go-lucky, kind of just go with the flow sort of feel to them. Like Naruto has it, Hunter x Hunter with Gon. He has that sort of feel to him where he's just kind of happy-go-lucky, but he actually feels more contrasting in this environment that he's in, because in this show, the nations are at war with each other. During this conflict of war, and everyone being very stoic and serious about everything, Aang kind of brings that light into a dark time. So he actually feels like he's contrasting with a lot of other characters in Avatar. So I actually kind of give him a pass for this one. But Aang actually isn't a normal child by any means. He is destined to become the Avatar. The Avatar is the only person on the planet that can actually master all the elements, all the different fighting styles, and use the magical properties of them. Aang virtually is trying to become the mixed martial artist in a world full of basically martial art purists. So you can see how he could become OP. Because Aang has all this potential and OP-ness about him, I almost sounded like something else. And I just made up a word, by the way. Anyways, you guys, the gist of what Aang has to do in the show is that Aang goes off with his buddies, Sokka and Katara and Toph, to go find masters of different elements, learn those properties, and become virtually a raid boss to fight the Fire Nation. The Fire Nation are a bunch of dicks. They kind of represent a specific Axis power in World War II. I'm not going to say who, because YouTube likes to demonetize people, and, if you say specific words and things like that. But let's just say it was a group of people that really hated another group of people. That's all I'm going to say. I think you guys understand. Now let me tell you, I really enjoyed watching the Avatar again, because I always like watching throwbacks from my childhood, because now I get to see old shows that I love with more of an adult, skeptical eye. I really wanted to know if this show would hold up as an adult, because there's certain shows that I've watched, when I was a kid that I just loved, and then as an adult, I watch them now, and they kind of suck. For example, I know someone's gonna shoot me and kill me in the comment section. Dragon Ball Z is one of those shows that I really enjoyed as a child, but now as an adult, I'm just like, the storyline kind of sucks. I mean, at least up to the Frieza arc. The Frieza arc's good. Everything before that, Dragon Ball's good. But then after that, it's almost like there's no point, if that makes any sense. I know, you guys. Blasphemy! Don't talk about Dragon Ball Z that way. That's just my opinion, you guys. Don't kill me. But it's safe to say that The Last Airbender is actually just as good, if not better, as an adult than when I was a child. The reason is, and one of my favorite things about the show, is the fact that it can go over very mature content and disguise it with a very kid-friendly and lighthearted tone to it. The show is 100% made for kids. There's barely any blood or real, like, brutal violence. I mean, there's fighting in the show, but it's not, like, no one's really getting, like, stabbed or maimed or, you know, getting their arm or head chopped up. There's nothing like that. And there's no cussing. There's no bad words in the show. But Avatar goes over very mature topics like war, genocide, love, redemption, learning from your mistakes. There's a lot of good life lessons to be told. And for some things, it will go right over kids' heads. They won't understand what's going on, and they just kind of are there for the action-venture part of the show. But the show briefly goes over certain topics that are very mature. And it's actually pretty crazy how Avatar actually pulled off this ability so that it can compel parents and older people with the morals and the concept of war and, you know, genocide and things like that, but also have the action-adventure element that will grab kids' attention. And all the mature stuff will go right over their head. So it's a great family show, and it completely makes sense why it became #1 on Netflix. Another great thing about Avatar is the fact that there's a lack of filler hell, which a lot of animes fall into. There's a problem in a lot of long-running animes like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, where they just kind of have like random filler episodes that mean nothing to the plot, and they have a lot of them. And there's not really any of these filler episodes in Avatar, but the ones that they do have are actually great character-building moments. Kind of like in Breaking Bad, you know the Fly episode everyone talks about? In Breaking Bad, there's that one filler episode called the Fly episode. And in that episode, it really has nothing to do with the main plot, but when you watch the episode, it does build on the characters and kind of define them a little better. So the episodes that they do have are actually good filler episodes, so thank God they have that. I really tried to find some hardcore issues of Avatar, and I really can't. I do have a couple of nitpicks though. For example, the music in the show could be better. I'm not saying it's bad by any means at all, but there's not any of those jams that you could put on your like iPod or whatever, or iPhone or whatever you have, and just jam to them like in Naruto. Like when I think back to Avatar, there's nothing that I can really recall in my head when it comes to music. That's not really a bad thing. It's just I wish there was better music. That'd be cool. And this is just a personal nitpick. I wish there was more violence in the show. Like, you know, I mean, I can't be expecting berserk levels of violence or anything like that, but just enough where it felt more like Naruto, where like somebody feels like they're really getting stabbed or shot or like burnt or something like that. Because Naruto's a kid's show too, but they take the violence to like a little bit more of a mature level where it feels like there's impact to all the hits. In Avatar, it never seems like they really get injured. Like everybody kind of feels like balloons that kind of just get batted around and kind of just float around. Nothing feels like there's like a bone-crunching hit to anything. And I wish there was that kind of visceral, bone-crunching, like, oh damn, that must have hurt sort of feeling. And they don't really have that. But all in all, Avatar is simple yet epic. All the cast of characters are relevant, they're all cool, they all have their own little quirks about them, they're great. And the show has a top-notch villain, Zuko. He's one of my favorite characters of the show. He has so much dynamic personality to him, so I love him. He's my main man, I love him. And the writers of the show made a great balance of fun action adventure for the kiddos, you know, with the Aang gang learning the different powers and martial arts and all that good stuff. And for the adults, there's Zuko that takes up about half the screen time of the show, and you get to learn about him and what he has to do to get his honor back. You get to learn about morality from him, redemption, peace, love. There's a lot of good stuff with Zuko that you can really get invested in as an adult. This might be giving Avatar too much credit, but I feel as though Avatar is like the Lion King of shows. And what I mean by that is that it's a fun action adventure for kids, but there's a lot of mature life lessons and morality for the adults. And it's just like Lion King. You can watch it as an adult and you're like, damn, that shit hits hard. And you can watch it as a kid and learn about all the, you know, like all the fun adventure, Hakuna Matata shit. Avatar: The Last Airbender absolutely gets an A+. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Actually, a matter of fact, don't do any of that. If you could please just share my content. If you like it, if you think I deserve it, share it. I want to get my name out there a little bit. I want people to see my reviews. So if you could possibly do that for me, that would be great. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see ya!